The example you mentioned before about this conversation with the person from Dubai was about should you bet on the horse or the jockey? Do you want to tell me a bit more about that? Like, where did you land on this?
Well, that's another principle of the venture mindset. And the principle is very simple. Bet on the jockey, not just the horse. And that is, first, a critical principle for the venture mindset. So venture capitalists will not invest in a startup if they do not think that the team behind this idea can execute the idea. And the truth is, and I've seen this again and again, the world of ideas is overrated. There are too many ideas, and I know we talked about intellectual property and copyright, but the truth is that there are so many ideas that, especially when we don't know how good they are, the ideas are less important than the people behind them. If I can come up with a great idea, but I'm unable to implement it. And for each great idea, there will be so many teams who would like to try it out. Let me give you, Richie, an example. So I hope that not everybody in our audience is so young that nobody remembers the day when the first iPhone was released back in 2007. Okay, but if I take you for a second back to that period, at the time there was no possibility to share files. Or rather, you would use do you remember USB sticks? And even if you're a little bit older, I still remember the diskettes. Okay, kind of the disks, the floppy disks. Okay, so that was the way to share files. But the idea that the future of file sharing is going to be disrupted was out there. And of course, iPhone obviously supercharged that. Okay, so 2007, in fact, there was a popular tech blog called Mashable, and it posted the list of, I think, more than 80 startups that were pursuing this kind of file sharing, file hosting stuff. Okay, now, many VCs looked at that. And one VC in particular, his name is Samir Gandhi. He was a partner at Sequoia, a venture capital firm. And he thought, file sharing is really cool. It's going to be big. By the way, again, the market did not exist at all. The technology was not there yet. Okay. But he thought, it's actually coming out. It's coming out. It's a huge vertical. I would love to make an investment. Okay. How he approached that? Well, he went out and met with dozens of these startups. That Mashable listed that he met. He learned a lot about this technology. He did not invest in any of them. And then one day, serendipitously, he was introduced to these two guys who didn't have any money. In fact, I think he needed to take a Greyhound bus from Boston to the Bay Area because they didn't have money to fly. And they didn't have a prototype because obviously they couldn't do anything, okay? And they were kind of outside this community. But in several minutes, he invited them for pizza, and I think very quickly he said, I would love to invest in them. Why? And that is because the jockey. Remember, the horse was the same for all those teams. The file sharing idea was exactly the same. The market was the same. Nobody really knew about how technology is going to evolve. What he realized in that really first 5 minutes, I think, is that these two guys, and their names were Drew Houston and Arash Ferdowsi, they knew much more than everybody else he talked to. They, in fact, thought deeper about many issues that he thought. And by the way, venture capitalists love investing in founders who know more than them about the stuff that they think they're experts in. And so he realized those guys can execute. If anybody can, they will execute. And so he, of course, proposed and Sequoia invested. And I think that investment turned out to be one of the better investments, dollar per dollar. That company was renamed and became known as Dropbox. And maybe some of us still using Dropbox every day, but that is the point. So the point is that there were 80 startups perhaps doing exactly the same, but really only 2+ survived. There's a Dropbox, there's a Box, and of course there's a Google Drive, which is a startup inside Google. And I'm not really sure whether you can name any other successful file sharing companies. Okay, so that's about the Jockey. So I think venture capitalists will not invest unless they believe in the Jockey. And I think that also holds a lesson for everybody, for all of us. I'm often asked, being a professor, I'm often asked, so what is the purpose of education? Okay, so one of the purposes is to ensure that you improve your jockey skills. Now, I don't mean horse racing skills. I mean that when you talk, like when I talk to you, okay, and I think of myself as an expert in your field, I'm still impressed by what you do. And so I think that is a skill, but I don't think there's too much luck involved. So my suggestion is to think about your jockey skills as a result of that.